Hello and welcome to the fan cams after the Blues slip up, get done by 12 points at the hands of the GWS Giants. It was 16 goals, 8, 104 to 18 goals, 8, 116. We were dominating, then we got dominated, and then made a game of it, almost, but not really. A bizarre evening, a bizarre watch, and the first loss in a while after 5 wins in a row. So disappointing result. Lots to come out, lots of discussion, no doubt. We're going to unpack it here on the fan cams. If you're new to the fan cams, welcome. Basically, feel free to call in, share your thoughts, turn your video on. I've got a few people waiting here in the waiting room already. I'll then put the link to join in the live chat if you want to jump in and you want to talk about, what you saw. We'll go for it. Let's get this show on the road. Shit. A little bit shock for me.
I'm mentally, physically, and emotionally drained. That was shit, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Bizarre. Bizarre scenes.
I don't think it was bizarre. I just think everything that could go wrong went wrong, didn't it? Like, they adjusted so well in the second, and it felt like it was men against boys for 2 quarters, didn't it? It was hard to believe we were the second place side and they were the 8th, and ultimately it was so unclean at the fall of the ball, which is so un-Blues like. They dominated the contest. It was a tough one, wasn't it, really, to watch?
Well, I guess it was too good to be true. The first quarter, everything seemed to be going our way. Ground balls were clean, handballs in traffic. Synergy looked on, and then what was it? 8 straight Giants goals in the second, like just bizarre. That's why I'm saying bizarre. Not so much to take away from the Giants. They were awesome, but just bizarre the position that we got ourselves in and then found ourselves in.
It was the battle of the game plans. It's what I named my preview. Battle of the coaches. Right. The real deep forward pressure that GWS bring and our midfield pressure that we bring, to polar opposites, and GWS just enacted it incredibly well, and hats off to them. But I mean, for the Blues, we've seen us adjust so many times in game and work it out, and this one was one that got away. It really was, and it was a hard one, this one, because usually I'm quite positive, and a bit like the Blues, I let situations get to me this week, and it's funny how it happens. Even the strongest will fail under the pressure. But, massive from GWS, maintaining 200 pressure rate in nearly all the game until the last 10 when the Blues ran away with it, but ultimately left themselves too much to do. It's a lesson for Voss. I mean, there's a lot of questions there for me, like with Voss. Like, TDK didn't look fully at freedom. Cottrell looked like he ran out of legs. On paper, it was probably a good idea. I think in hindsight, if you had the time again, maybe Voss would have gone with the 2 rucks. But credit to them, they showed fight at the end. Do you know what I mean? They showed fight at the end, which is how you judge teams when you lose, I always think. How do you run the game out? They kept going, but 52-19, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Brisbane game in the finals. Felt like they changed something and we were constantly chasing our tail even though we were 40 points ahead. And eventually, before you know it, you're 30 points down. Do you know what I mean? You're 30 points down and you're kind of shell-shocked, aren't you? Look shell-shocked at times.
Yeah, I'm sure the Ruck discussion will open up tonight. Briggs seemed to take that one personally after being dominated the last time we played. And then I think Tom rolled his ankle in the first, maybe. That may have affected his movement a little bit, but I mean, you got to give full credit to the Giants on that. Like, we didn't get the basics right after doing the basics seemingly right, and the Giants capitalized. It's probably the second time this year that real running power has opened us up. I think Sydney was the other time. So is that maybe something we've got to figure out how to counteract? Not every team can do it, but the Giants certainly can when they get going.
GWS just played. It's what we've said all year. This is the toughest one to win this league, because I think if you're 90% and the other team's 100%, the top 12 can beat you each other. It's a real interesting one, because it does seem to be a pattern of the Blues that if teams really try and condense that corridor, it still seems to be an area that we just can't manufacture. You just can't manufacture our way out. And we got taught a lesson, and sometimes you want your lessons, don't you? It's a weird one, man. It's a weird one. But, that was poorly executed. And unfortunately, we had no answer till the end. And facts of the game, innit? If you play one quarter, you ain't winning a game.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Is it an overreaction about selection, or do we need to go back and bring back Pitto in and bring back Hewitt back in? Or is it just one game?
Everyone said we were due a loss, didn't they? Everyone said it was coming. So, no one can really be unhappy, because I think that was the general consensus that Carlton were guaranteed to lose one. End of the day, the second, do you know what I mean? They're going to be second at the end of the week. You take that one on the chin and go back on the training track and work something out. If you fix it next week and you come out against the Dogs and you absolutely destroy the Dogs, you'll mark this one down as it. It's a learning, isn't it? It's a learning.
Yeah.
You can't win every game. Sydney fucking lost, didn't they, last week? To Fremantle out of nowhere, and Fremantle are currently playing Richmond and not exactly running a game like you'd expect. So good teams bounce back. You've got to bounce back, but it's only a problem if we go on a 3-point losing streak, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, yeah. Nice little reality check just to sharpen them up, hopefully, before the final, month and a bit of the season. But it's weird doing this after a loss almost. It's been a while. Living in La La Land, mate. 5 in a row, talking flags. Yeah. But I think we'll be all right.
No, it's probably our fault. We probably enjoyed it too much. Do you know what I mean? We'll go. Do you know what I mean? People are already saying I'm making too many excuses. I think I just said GWS were better. You know what? I'm going to call it a night. I actually can't cope with human beings.
Mate, go and have a nice night.
Do you know what I mean? Usually I thank live chat, but that would be a lie. For the ones who were pretty positive in chat, I thank you very much. Peace, love and light, and maybe see you next week. But you never know. Do you know what I mean?
Go have a bath. Go run the water. Nice hot bath. And
mate, the flight back to England seems very nice at the moment. So, but anyway, peace, love.
All right, mate.
If I'm not in England Monday, I'll see you Monday.
All right, mate. Take care. All right. Paolo.
Hello, sir.
How are we?
How was that? In life and in football, you get what you deserve.
Yeah.
That is the truth of the matter, unfortunately or fortunately. So, yeah, it was not great from the second term to the third quarter, and you just sit there in front of the tally or wherever you were watching it, and you just sit there helpless, waiting for them to turn the momentum around. But it was just everyone talks about Kemp being outdone by Hogan, but there are a few in the midfield that didn't really do too good of a job to actually protect the back 6 or 7 for that part of the game. And it just felt, maybe it was the Brisbane game, it felt like the Swans game all over again. Wiedering goes down with a cork. He doesn't go on for 20 minutes. Giants kick 7, 8 in a row, and we can't wrestle momentum back. And then when the game's done and dusted, we start taking it on and start taking the risky kicks and start deciding to to actually rock up, and unfortunately, the game's done and dusted by then. So, very poor performance after quarter time, and I think the margin at the end was a bit flattering.
Do you take anything out of the way we finished the game?
Yeah, to a point, but we did the same against Geelong, and then lost to who we lose to the week after Collingwood.
Collingwood, yeah.
So yeah, I mean you'll know a lot about the group next week, and it's just the frustrating thing for me is the ease in which GWS got itself back into the game, and then the ease in which they pulled away, because that has nothing to do with that the way the game flipped had nothing to do with injuries. Unfortunately, it just had everything to me. This game was all us, and I know GWS are a good team, and that they have threats and they're dangerous, and the pressure rating might have been above 200. But to me, this game was all about mentally switching on. And if you don't want to bring those principles, contest and pressure, well, you may as well not bother rocking up. And contest and pressure went to the water in the second and third term, and we couldn't get our hands on the football. We got belted at the coalface. The midfield was nowhere in the second and third quarter, and we copped it, unfortunately. And I don't know if he looks like he might be, I don't know, people were saying he hurt his ankle, before the game or something like that. But he's in a bit of a patch at the moment, unfortunately. His last fortnight has been nowhere near the level, and he probably knows that more than anyone. But I thought his attitude stunk tonight. But anyway, that's for another day. We know we can turn it around, but just don't like when he drops that bottom lip, unfortunately, and when it's not going his way, he doesn't really seem to get separation or want to not try, but he just, I don't know, he just seemed disinterested tonight. Was that the ankle? Yeah, maybe, but just more the attitude on his end. He's a leader of the team now, and he's got to be better. Simple as that.
How much of, because I mean, once he started touching the ball sort of at half forward and entering the ball by foot, it just seemed like he started finding it. How much of it do you think is Charlie's performance, and how much of it do you think of it is the coaching of his game? Like, what's the balance of him figuring out when to assert himself, how to assert himself, and then the coaches sort of realizing, okay, how can we help him?
Yeah, I guess it is to a point, but where would you rather? Would you rather him at half back winning the ball, or would you rather him deep hitting up at the ball and being a threat when we win the ball up front? And again, for me, it was more on the midfield. The midfield in that second and third term just went to water, and we just couldn't win it at the coalface, mate. We got flogged in clearances, flogged in inside 50s, couldn't win the territory battle. Walsh got shut down really, really, really well. De Koning, he battled hard, Tom. He was in the walls early with that ankle, and Briggs is a decent ruckman, and maybe they should have played the two rucks. I guess that was probably the call coming into the game, because it worked last time we played them and they decided not to go with it. But, you just look at the numbers now, mate. Like, aside from Cripps, all the next ball winners were Green, Ward, Whitfield, Daniels, Cornelio, and Callahan. And then the next best is Tom De Koning. And the tackle count inside 50 was, I think, single figures. I think we only had 4 or 6 tackles inside 50 this week. So contest and pressure, mate. You don't want to bring that for the majority of the game. You are not going to win. And that's what we base our team off. So it's one of those ones where you waver from the principles with which you base your football off. You are going to struggle, unfortunately. And the way the Giants move the ball as well with the switch, and they got us from one side to the other. They open up the space on the fat side of the ground, and we just weren't ready. Matt Cottrell will probably be better for the run, but I think his selection, I think they obviously got that one wrong in hindsight. He was not at the races today, but you'd hope he'd be better for the run. Just a flat performance after quarter time, unfortunately. So I don't know what more can you add. This game for me, the only way we were going to lose this game is if we were mentally off. That was the only thing, because there's no way knowing that GWS goes on an 88-13 scoring run or whatever it was. There's no way knowing that there's that much of a gap between the two teams in a second to third quarter period. And to me, it was more on us than it was GWS playing. I mean, GWS was good, but the result was exacerbated by our our mental switch off. Just that you could see they just weren't locked in. After quarter time, they just weren't locked in, mate. And I know, like I said, I know Wiedering was sore and he was off for 15 or 20 minutes, but got to be better than that. The midfield's got to protect that back half, and not good enough. Not good enough. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Nice little kick up the arse.
Well,
In the back end of the year, hopefully.
Yeah. It's just the fact of the matter is we are still second, but it's the performance and the drop off after just a little bit of hardship during the game, talent wise. And I know Wiedering going down doesn't help, but yeah, very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. So what can you do, mate? It's one of those nights. Did we feel it coming? I didn't see this coming.
I think pre-season, I definitely would have said, yeah, we might split the game with the Giants. But at quarter time tonight, I said, nah, well, I mean, this is just 4 points. Like, just easy as you like. Get away from home.
And you see how poor the Giants were last week. Adelaide made them look second rate. And it's all to do with, it's just above the shoulders.
Yeah.
You can't go from what we were in a 5-week patch and then automatically become what we were in the second and third term if it's not here. These boys can play. They know how to play football. Did the coaches get a few things wrong tactically in the second and third term? Could they have shifted the magnets a little bit more? Yeah, maybe. But this was on everyone tonight, unfortunately. And after quarter time, it was just nowhere near the level. Did they think the job was done? Maybe. Maybe they switched off after they kicked those goals. But, they'd need a big reversal next week because the Dogs at Marvel Stadium is not going to be any easier than it was this week. And if we rock up with the attitude we did in this game, we'll get pantsed again because they're sort of even keel, these two teams at the moment. I know the Dogs were disappointing today, but they might get a few back. So we need to be on our game big time next week. It was just a poor performance, start to finish, unfortunately, after quarter time. So,
yep. All right, well, we'll be back.
Butter up next week. Hopefully Weeders is good, and let's get the Bulldogs, eh?
Fingers crossed. See you next Saturday.
Enjoy fan cams. I'll try to anyway.
All right, mate.
Hooroo.
Hey, Don. Welcome to Blue Abroad membership, mate. Thank you. Vic Wide Renovations, $3. Says, a lot to learn from this game. Koken, 26-month member. How many corkies can one man receive in 10 weeks? It's got to be studied. It's just ridiculous how many knocks Wiedering gets. It's just, he's so unlucky. Connor, can I join tonight? Mate, of course you can join tonight. Anyone can join. Let me put the link in the chat right now. There it is. All right. Let's talk. Jim, hey, mate.
Hey, mate. How you going?
Unfamiliar doing this after a loss lately.
Yeah, it's been nice, hasn't it, the last few weeks?
It's been a dream run. It's like, all right, therapy again. Is it therapy though?
Nah, I don't think so. I think we've got to appreciate the fact that we've been so good as well. Enjoy it. Enjoy the season for what it is.
Yeah.
I think tonight was interesting though. I think the first 10 minutes in the second quarter, we played like billionaires. Like the game was won, but there's 4 quarters in the game of footy. And we didn't value the pill, and the pill is hard to get. So when you get it, use it a little bit better. We didn't protect our defense at all. I couldn't agree with Pom and Paul more at all. Thought they were spot on with their assessment of the game just then. We just didn't value the ball and hard work in the second quarter and the third quarter. And then we realized, hold on, we're not that team. We're not that team anymore. And we played the game out, which is good. And it's a good sign. But yeah, a lot through that middle part of the game just was real hard to watch. But how did you view it?
How did I view it? It was party time in the first quarter. I thought, wow, they've clicked. We've really gone up a level here. Totally dominant. And then I think we just weren't able to. I mean, Wiedering goes down. Not to say that that's the reason why the Giants got on top. I actually give full credit to the Giants because their running game, they got it going. They found themselves. They didn't take a backward step. and then all of a sudden we couldn't stem the flow, which is something we've been really good at doing. And then it took until I think Kennedy takes a mark late in the third or early in the fourth, and they were saying it was our first mark inside 50 since the first quarter. Harry kicks our first goal after 46 minutes, and I'm like, fuck, like, all right. Overall, not panicking in what it means for the season. Mate, the Giants are a quality team. They've just been out of form, and tonight they found their form again. So,
yeah, I agree. They got their game going, man. Like, that's their A game going. But when we had that 39-point lead and, it gets cut to 33 just on quarter time, I feel like when teams have kicked 2 or 3 goals against us this year, we've gone into a little tempo footy where we win the ball because we're so strong in the contest. We decide to hold on to it, take a little bit of the sting out of the game, and we get one against the flow. Tonight, we couldn't get our hands on the footy, and I don't know whether 1 or 2 rucks is the right way to go, and we're going to learn a lot about that this year. But if we had Pitt in the side tonight, we don't sacrifice star players like Cripps and Harry and ruin our structure. And I think that kind of hurt when we were trying to win the ball back in the second and third quarter. We didn't have Harry to kick to down the line because he was in the ruck wrestling. And then Cripper isn't getting the ball dished to him so we can open up people and get Walsh in the game, who's getting a hard tag because he's wrestling like Briggs in the ruck. Briggs is a huge man. So, yeah, I don't know whether we got it right or wrong at selection, but I think they'll look at that at least, but definitely not panic stations. Not at all. Like, there's a lot of panicky fans, and we just got to keep a cool head. Just keep a cool head. It's 1 loss, 11-5.
Yeah.
Just chillax a bit.
Yeah. Plenty of footy to play. There's something for sure in what you said there around the balance. I mean, we're a contest side. I think Pitto and Hewitt, whether you have one or both of them in the side, when they're both out of a team, it's going to affect your contest. It looked okay in the first quarter though, because we were rebounding brilliantly. And then when it came time for the game to settle and you need to get your contest right, I think we were reminded why Pitto and Hewitt are important in different ways. I don't know if that means you bring them both in. I don't know what it means, but definitely affected our ability to win the contest. Like, Tom's stats look great, but the reality is he got beaten in the ruck.
He got beaten on the night. And we don't have that player like a JSOS this year now where he would do that role perfectly, and we're not sacrificing a Harry and we're not sacrificing a Cripper. So we need to work out a way to utilize, either we do go 2 rucks and we stick with it, or Tom's the man and we got to work out a way that if something like that happens, we still keep our structures and we still stick to the game plan, because I just felt like it skewed in the second and the third quarter. It was really obvious. They just got on top of us. They got their handball game going. They look like a really good side all of a sudden. I have been watching them. They've been okay, I think, in the last 2 months, but they really got their game going tonight. But at least we fought the game out. No percentage was damaged. And we look to the Dogs. I think we can definitely beat them. And now it's time to see if we are genuine, because we'll learn a lot next week. Yeah. So that'll be the most important game of the year. Each week is, but that is a big game now. So,
mate, Cripps is 200th next week. We've got to lick our wounds, get back on. So I'm gonna find the love again and
don't
get
think
back
we'd be
at
losing
it.
that then.
No,
wouldn't think we'd lose that for Cripper, and he's an animal too. Probably gets some votes tonight as well. And he's a star. So
yeah, he was good.
Anyway, mate, I'll leave you to
All
it.
right, man.
Get through it.
Thanks
Take care.
For calling in. See you,
mate. Bye.
Hey, Connor, how are you, mate?
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Bit upset about tonight's result, hey?
Oh my God, it's just crazy ending. I was like, supposing we drop on last. I'm like, I understand it. I was like, I thought we're going to win, and I'm like, understood it, and I feel like we need to try to win for this next week.
Well, we've got to be responding, don't we, next week, mate? Can't afford to let this.
Do.
Yeah. Do you think we can do it?
I hope we do.
Hope so.
Week.
You're going to be watching?
Oh yes, I am.
Mate, exciting times. Cripps' 200th, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'm like, I'm not surprising it's 2 in 6 weeks.
Pardon?
Surprising.
Pardon, what'd you say?
I'm just betting. I was like, I thought it used to be like 200 stains already, but in 6 weeks, and like, I was surprised he's got 200 stains next week. And
Well,
I
mate.
was like, it's so many players who he has like 200 stains already. I mean, so far he has to play, and we had lost for a while now.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I can barely hear you, Connor. I'm not sure what's going on with your microphone there, mate. I could barely make out your sound, but that's okay.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for calling in, though.
That's all right.
Go Blues.
Go Blues.
See you, mate. Joel.
Hey, mate. Look, not the end of the world. You can hear me, can't you? Good, yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
Can you
I'm
hear me?
listening. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Look, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's disappointing, but it's kind of like, hey, we're second on the ladder. And we reset and go again. I think I've just been thinking, and I think I was just looking at through the number of average. Most of our list have played only a tad over 100 games. So that's not, experience let us down tonight, I think. I haven't been listening to what people have said, by the way, sorry, but I think that's what let us down. I think it's just experience. What do you think?
I think we got beaten by a team that was a bit more hungrier for it over the 4 quarters. I think it almost
But then, I mean, look, it's unacceptable that it was just like, it was just really disappointing. It was horrible viewing to see the amount of goals they piled on. And we couldn't turn the tide, and I think that's down to experience. I think this is probably just it's just a little blip, which is I'm no footy expert, but I would say these things happen. I mean, so it's not the end of the world. I think some positional things. I don't know why I was shocked to see always a sub.
Yeah, so was I. So was I. They definitely tried something. You could tell they definitely tried something. You could feel that there was a need and a want to get Cottrell into the side, which I get it. But then all of a sudden,
no impact, really did. That was interesting to see. He hasn't played since round 6, and then
but just to my point. But just to my point. Let me finish. I'm not finished. You could see they could bring Owies in, and then you end up losing Hewitt for it. You take out Pitto. You want to try TDK against Briggs on his own. And then you lose a bit of contest around, you lose your dominance around the contest.
That's and look, it didn't cost us the game probably, but probably matchup with Kemp didn't go well. So whether Wadering, but they started Kemp on Hogan, which was interesting because he's the best forward, and you think our best defender's Wadering, so that was a bit odd.
I couldn't believe how much. I couldn't believe the lack of body work on Jesse Hogan. Like the amount of times he had a clear run of footy, it was remarkable.
There was some pretty poor defensive efforts / lack of accountability. I think we go. The VFL had a win, so that's good. Finally, so I'd like to just give Marchbank, mate. I don't know how I didn't watch the whole game, but he got through, and he's probably in line for a call up soon. Motlop play well. Sorry,
are you saying Marchie would come in potentially?
You would say on paper he's the better defender than Kemp. Yeah. So yeah, give it a go. I mean, yeah, I would say give them a go. Who we got next week? Dogs.
Dogs. Saturday,
Might be
prime
not
time.
fast track Marvel. So yeah, maybe hold off a week, but definitely, yeah, Motlop I'd give Motlop a go next week because Zoe's and Fantasia had no impact. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting to play TDK against Spriggs, who just outmuscled TDK. Perhaps we got a bit ahead of ourselves with TDK. But that's all right. You live and learn. And as I said, back to what I said at the beginning, like it's we're second on the ladder. Just I don't know. It's just one of those things where we just have to wait and see. I guess see how really good this side is, and what has everyone else been saying on the channel? I just came on late. I mean, but anyway, I can go back and look.
Conversations are varying. Yeah, spoken about Ruck, spoken about Ruck, spoken about contests, spoken about selection. Yeah, there's a range of things. We've only just started, so I'm sure we're going to have quite a few more things pop up.
Yeah, but I'd be interested to see what other people think about just and I think Bossy said a week or two ago that we haven't really played this side. Well, Cherry was quiet. So, look, there was a lot of players down. So maybe we were just due for a loss. I mean, look, I didn't expect us to play well. I just think we never really play well against the Giants. It's always a bit of a battle. As I said to you before pre-game, I expected us to win, but only just. And I'm not surprised that we lost by 2 goals. So, yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, but we didn't, no major injuries out of the game. So, not the end of the world.
Yeah. Well, back to the drawing board, mate. Get back to work, get back to training, and then we'll be back next Saturday against the Dogs.
Yeah. No, I'm more confident about that one. All right. Cheers.
Yeah. Thanks, Joel. Wowdy.
Hey, Terry.
How are you, mate? First loss in a while.
Yeah, look. Started well, like you said. And actually, I thought TDK was really good in that first quarter. I thought he was one of our better players and probably gave us a bit of drive. And so I understand sort of he probably didn't get the chocolates in the end, but whether the ankle affected him, not sure. I mean, he did play with it in that first as well. But look, of course, we wanted to win. Didn't happen. I'd rather now than later in the year. Interesting stat before the game. If we kept winning all the way up until the grand final, it would have been 16 in a row. Last time we did that was in our premiership year. Irrelevant now, but anyway.
Guess we're going to have to create our own history in a different way.
That's right. It was probably one for Ari. If we won tonight, we could have probably rode that for a little bit. But anyway.
Did you take much out of the way that we finished? Does it matter to you? I mean, obviously, game, we're being dominated. Do you? I mean, there's a school of thought that I see. Some people believe in it, some people don't. But sort of the way you finish is important, even if you're being dominated. Do you take much out of the way we finished the game?
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think we had to have finished on a high, and the reason for that is it's about your baseline and we had a chance to probably nearly win the game, or at least equalise, potentially draw the game the way we were finishing. So yeah, I think so, and I think it's good momentum for next week as well. There's always something in that, and I think if that was us 3 years ago, we probably would have lost by probably 10 goals or something. So I think that just shows the maturity of the group. But the concerning thing for me is the ease in which they came back and reeled us back in. I think Pom was saying it felt like the Brisbane game last year, the prelim. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, and I thought we're past that a little bit. I thought we could probably hold teams for a bit longer. But, that's something they've got to work on, whether that's mental, whether that's personnel, combination of both, don't know. They've got to figure it out, but don't want to be doing that very often, put it that way.
No, you got to get your form right going into final series. No
Yeah.
doubt. Like on the one hand, you got to get it right. On the other hand, let's find out if it was a little blessing in disguise, just a little sharpen up for them. Still plenty of footy to play. Nothing's locked in just yet. I mean, I know we're all talking about top 2 and top 4 and playing City in a granny already and all of that, but the reality is so much can change so quickly if you're not careful. So we just gotta ride it out, hopefully get a response next week and go for it,
Yeah, it's just a little reminder. Absolutely. I agree. I think we've got and the good news is we're healthy. We've got health in the twos. If needed, whether they look to go 2 rucks, 1 ruck, I'm sure they'll make the right decision. But look, the good news, they've got a good dilemma, I guess, coming up this week with selection. They've got some players that have got some form in the VFL, which is good. And if anything, it puts the players in the team on notice. Your place is up for grabs, and there are guys nipping at their ankles in the VFL. So that can only help us for next week.
Yeah. See you at Marvel Stadium on Saturday.
Will do.
All right, mate. Take care.
Thanks, mate. Take
See ya.
care. See ya.
Dione.
Hey, Terry, how are you?
Great. How you doing?
Good. Still in Bangkok, so I'll be back in September. Don't worry.
Very good.
Pardon?
I was going to say, how'd you watch that? What's on your mind?
I mean, it's frustrating because we did start so well, and I didn't see that second quarter coming, to be honest, and the third. I just find it really interesting now with the ruck discussion taking place because so many people have been adamant about one ruckman, but I really believe that there are some games that you really have to have 2, and I think that was shown tonight. I reckon that we lost this game at selection and in the coaching box. That's just my view. I personally wouldn't have dropped Hewitt. And I know that, I watch enough of the Blue Abroad TV shows where I see all the matchups and who plays roles and things like that. But I still believe George Hewitt is a really good midfielder for us and does a lot of the grunt work. And especially when Cripps was in the ruck, we lost that grunt, that work, because Cripper can't do it all. And he feeds so many of our players. And I don't like seeing Cripps in the ruck, even though he can do it. He's too valuable for us, and that's where I think we lost it with the selections this week. And
it's quite bizarre, isn't it? I'm seeing whether it's Kennedy, whether it's Cripps, seeing midfielders in the ruck. I mean, maybe they were testing something, but I thought we found the formula against the Giants in particular the last time we played them, and that was with both the big boys in there. And I thought, it just worked because. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they'll talk about it, but I'm with you. I'd rather the ball get tapped to Cripps rather than Cripps rucking himself.
I saw Cripps like he was battered today, and I still think he was our best player for sure. Do you agree? Yeah. I mean, he's just a beast, and I want them to win for him next week for everything he does for this team, and I really hope that we do win next week. I believe we can. I believe we will. I know we will. But the other thing is we're going to lose sometime. We weren't going to go through undefeated. I prefer to lose today and finish off strong like we did in that game because we did play better in the last quarter. I believe you should finish off better. I don't want to lose to Collingwood in 3 or 4 weeks' time.
No.
Yeah? That's not the game I want to lose. If we have to lose, it's this week, when we've travelled. So let's get behind him. Let's think of some positives out of the game. Harry Mackay's kicking is amazing. He's so accurate. I love how he's just come back this year stronger. And Kennedy, for me, I thought he was quite good as well, actually. And for him to come back from that knee injury was pretty special, I think, as well. So a few positives. I think Cotters is underdone. I'm not sure if they even should put him in the VFL. Let's see. I'm not sure what you would do, Terry, as far as selection goes, but I guess we'll all figure that out during the week.
It's a lucky dip at the moment. To be honest, it's just I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. Like I was pretty confident that they would want Cottrell in the side, and maybe there was just you take the risk, get a game under his belt, be better for it.
I actually didn't see him until the last quarter.
Yeah.
That's the only time I was like, oh my God, I forgot you were playing. And that's not me criticizing him and getting stuck in. I just forgot that he was actually picked in the team. And we had, how many players can you have a bad night all at once? And I think a lot of them had bad nights all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And just one thing with Joel, the reason why Wiedering wasn't on Hogan was when he got injured. That could have been the switch, but I think that it still would have been the same result because Wiedering was not – he still did okay, but I don't think he was going to be able to match up with that injury.
Yeah.
So, and, yeah, Kemp had a bad game, but I'm reading all this shit in the chat, like drop him, he's fucking hopeless, but excuse my language, sorry. He's been really good the last month or so. So people should just get off his back. He had a bad night. I'm sure everybody else has bad days in their own job. So let's get on with it.
Well said. Love your work, Yoni.
Sorry
so
for the swearing, but
you can
I was
swear.
pissed off I was pissed off reading the chat tonight and listening to Bobby's chat. So I don't know how he does that chat, and I had to drop out because it was just driving me insane.
No, that's fair. It's tough. No, listen, it's tough. Yeah, I don't know how Pommy does it. It's probably also why I don't do watch-alongs because even I posted
he
half
needs a big hug.
Instagram.
He needs a big hug though from all of us. So big hugs to you, Pommy, and But look, onward and upward. Let's go. We're second on the ladder.
Absolutely.
We are a damn good team, and let's just get behind our boys and not bag them. Yeah, please.
It. Thanks, Dione.
See you.
See ya. Booze Hound, $10. No link up play, second to the ball all night, always running into congestion, beaten in the packs. Peter would have been fighting people into submission. TDK got eaten. So far left from what we do right. Yeah. All right, Archie.
All right.
What up?
Terry?
How are we, lads?
Good. Yeah, good. How are you, Terry?
I'm all right. It's a weird one tonight. Been doing winning fan camps for the last month and a bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was kind of bound to happen. I guess good to get it out of the way. Like, we needed a loss. Like,
what did you guys see after quarter time? Like, I mean, I think that's going to be the talking point for the week, to be dominating so much and then it just flip. Like, what was it for you?
I mean, I just saw, like, we just getting killed in the contest. Like, I don't know, TDK was getting bullied by Briggs. Cripps couldn't win a ball. It was just sloppy all around the ground.
I reckon they looked tired. I reckon after the first quarter, we just got tired really quick. I don't know. They didn't because they're professional athletes, obviously, but it just looked like they did. I don't know. I also think that Kerner, right? There wasn't one moment in that game where he didn't have someone on his shoulder. Constantly.
All over him.
Buckley had him dead to rights the whole game.
And do you think like Jack Martin coming in would help that? What do you reckon about that?
I can only see a way to get him in is to drop Fantasia, for example. But me personally, I think we need one or both of Pitto and Hewitt. I don't know which one's more important because I think Hewitt really frees up Cripps because he does a little bit of the defensive work at stoppages. Pitto, I truly think having Pitto in that side tonight would have helped stem the bleeding around the contest. Exactly. I mean, I thought what happened tonight was a reversal of what happened against the Giants the last time. And they just blitzed us the way we blitzed them, but probably for longer.
Just 1 minute.
Well, just don't forget,
Yeah.
Amazing.
What are we on?
Just about Pitt and Hewitt. I mean, me and Yanni here, we always like talk about whether we prefer one ruck in just TDK or two rucks.
I'm one ruck. I think TDK's. I think he's fine, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think certain games you need two, and I thought tonight was one of them, personally.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
not all the time, but I think it worked so well against Briggs the last time we played.
Yeah, bigger body, yeah.
I mean, like, TDK can work. Like, you saw against Geelong. It was bullying, blitzarves, deconing, like, everyone. But then Briggs getting that bump in late, setting him off balance, literally grabbing the ball and just getting the hands off to Tom Green or whoever. I was just, sorry sight.
He looked a bit sloppy today.
You think?
I reckon he looked a little bit all over the place at times. I don't know. Maybe he was sixth last week. Maybe that's it. But I don't know. I just reckon there just wasn't enough movement today through the middle.
Yeah. No, we definitely got beaten up. We got, and I think we've talked about TDK a little bit. Kemp's come under fire. I reckon even Walsh and Chera got beaten tonight. You know? Didn't quite get the same output from them, and across the board, really, across the board, midfield let us down, and that hurts because the domino effect goes to your defenders, and then all of a sudden we lose this ability to have body on the opposition forwards flying at the footy. It was really strange. It was a really strange way for us to fall away with what had worked so well for us. I am also seeing some people saying that Charlie tweaked his ankle in the pre-game. I didn't know that. I didn't see that.
That might have...
Pardon?
I mean, that could have happened for all we know, like, because it did happen. Yeah. Like, he looked like he was playing really deep as well. I didn't see him up the ground much. There's more Mackay doing kind of half forward role.
Oh yeah, what do you think of Hogan? What do you think of his game?
Mate, he was a star tonight.
Yeah,
well, he's a good player. I mean, I know that in losses we can always look at what we did wrong, but at some point you kind of got to credit the opposition what they do right. They got their running game going.
Why do you reckon we couldn't stop Hogan tonight?
Why do I reckon we couldn't stop Hogan? Because I don't think we were able to limit quality ball getting to him, and I don't think we were accountable enough for him. Didn't get enough body on him. Didn't block his run to the footy enough.
I mean, I don't know how like Kemp, as good of a defender as he is, I don't know about going to the number one forward. I feel like that's Wiedering's role. But as Wiedering got the corky early, kind of killed us a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Kemp, that kind of medium second tall maybe. Just, I don't know, a bit unlucky.
Very. It's like the third or fourth corky or fifth corky for the year for him. It's crazy.
I know.
C-Cop's too many, to be honest.
Yeah. I had someone wrote on Instagram at halftime something about Wiedering's always getting injured like it's his fault.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you want him to do?
Like, the guy, he's in the toughest contests almost every defensive play. So what can you do?
Yeah.
Williams played. That switch is really proving good right now. How much is it now? 15, 16 goals?
Something like that. Yeah, I haven't got it in front of me. Something like that.
It's pretty crazy. It's a good move. But Motlop back in. Who do you think he gets back in? And if he does, who for?
I don't know. Let's just wait and see what the wrap up is from the game.
It's a very good problem.
Yeah.
Seeing if gets back in.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. He was number one draft pick, 10 years ago, whatever. And now he's like Jack Martin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And now, I don't know. We'll see. We'll let you go. Get some other people.
Awesome. Thanks, boys. Appreciate you calling in.
Go Blues.
Go Blues. All right. Yuval. Hello, mate.
Sorry, I'm a bit under the had a few bevos during that game, which was a disappointment. A few things. I mean, this was predictable. I was on the fan cams and I was saying during the second quarter and after halftime. Well, I said before halftime, Vossi should give them the mother of all sprays for that second quarter. And it was a mindset. We were arrogant and we were lazy. We were arrogant and fucking lazy. First quarter, we get that lead. We're only, 5 goals up, 6 goals up, and then they got one, a shit goal in the last second, which already gives them a run. And then we just said, we're going to win this. Why don't we just, our midfield do nothing? Do you
reckon they got a bit comfortable after quarter time and just thought
they were completely comfortable. We were sitting around. I mean, I was watching it with the missus and we were, drinking some bubbles, and it was like, yeah, this is going to be, I was just smiling, another comfortable win. It was like, and then they just, no, let's lose a few clearances. Let's, it's like what's his name? Their coach just said, Walsh, Walsh is off. We'll just sit on Walsh. We'll sit on Chera. There's no one there. So the first fault was why wasn't Georgie Hewitt playing? I mean, he's the kind of guy that, when the team gets a run on, he'll start grinding. He'll start working. He's not one of these Larry fucking rock stars that we've got. Ollie Hollands. For fuck, Ollie Hollands, he's been shit, mate. He's a muppet, that guy. Why was Cottrell in there so straight away? Let's put Cottrell in instead of Georgie Hewitt. Cottrell was terrible. But there were signs in, late in the first quarter. Akers turned over 3 completely, it was back to Akers kicking it down the throat of the opposition. So when you see guys like that, when they start to do it, I think it sort of seeps into the other sort of players, you kind of fringy, like your Ollie Hollands, and then they go, yeah, this will be an easy day in the office, I don't understand, why is it that the opposition coach can put moves in that blankets us and then sets their team on a 7-goal, and then, when they're on a 5-goal run, we could not do anything. We could not do nothing. We were fumbling. The the back line were defending for their life. Weeders then does his corky. It all just, you're watching it and you're yelling at the TV. It's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? What can we do? It's like it's like you're watching a genocide going on in the fucking game.
It's a reminder how hard it is to win. And you can be off it. You can really undo and get yourself in such a hole in like 15, 20 minutes in this league, especially away.
Yeah, well, true away, but they were underdone. I mean, they were missing 2 of their most important players. They've been out of form. Jesse Hogan couldn't. I mean, that guy couldn't get a kick in a brothel. And then he's suddenly a rock star. He kicked 6 goals, and he wasn't even that good. I mean, it was just like, well, who's covering Jesse Hogan? And I think it's not fair to say that Kemp was that bad, because Kemp was trying to defend. Mate, the whole back line was like, I don't know what they were doing. They were defending for their lives. No one could get clean ball except the opposition. Boyd was just punching and digging and getting nowhere. It was just, Sard was doing those stupid rugby kicks, and turning them over, or not even making them go 10 metres. Fuck's sake. I mean,
yeah. Anyway,
it's all these things, they just add up. Like it's arrogance. It's in their heads. They thought, we're killing him. Williams and even Williams. He's stuffed up when we're having the run on. It's just arrogant. They just think, we're going to do this. And I mean, it was too little, too late. I mean, that third quarter that was the worst quarter I think I've ever seen. I mean, we're going back to the pagan days in that third quarter.
Talk to me about worst third quarter you've ever seen. Did you forget 2021? Did you forget 2019?
Yeah. They were terrible. But I mean, here we are. Last week we had the premiership quarter, and this year we've got. Oh, this is the Bolton wooden spoon quarter. You know,
No, I
I
just
mean,
think it's one bad game. I don't think it's that
well,
bad.
let's hope. Let's hope.
I don't think it's-
Look. You know,
there's
next week we'll come out.
Yeah.
Look, we have to beat Footscray. Footscray were terrible. You know, get your heads right and just you know how to play football. They know how to play football. You know, I mean, Charlie had a terrible game. You know, they said he was injured. Whatever. Harry played fantastically. You know, he
Considering
kept
all these
away.
terrible performances, we lose by a couple of kicks. I don't know. I just don't think
but
it's as bad.
remember we're second on the ladder. It's a terrible performance because we're second on the ladder. So this is the mindset. Sydney Swans supporters, they always win. You know, they always win. They're the best team. You know, Georgie Hewitt is a third-rate Sydney player in their eyes. You know.
Yeah.
So we have to have that mind. I mean, we don't have to be arrogant. We have to be tough and we have to be smart. You know,
We're going to learn lessons too along the way.
Yeah.
And this will
anyway,
be one
look,
of them.
we'll bounce back next week, touch wood. But I just think, I mean, what was Vossi? Fuck, I haven't seen his presser. I reckon it'd be interesting what he says in his presser.
Let's see what happens. Thanks, Yuval.
So, yeah.
All right, mate. Joe Adamo. Should we panic?
Oh, it's doomsday again. Fuck me. Jesus Christ. No offense to Yuval, but my God, like, if this is where we're at still as a supporter base, like, come on, please. It happens. It happens. Go back and look at everyone that's won a flag or made a grand final over the last 10 years, and they would all have a game like this at some point through the season. It happens. It's on the road. It's against a good team. Yes, we got the early jump. It was great. We were jumping around. It was fantastic. Was it disappointing to see us not just drop that lead, but then go behind by 6 goals? Yeah, it's disappointing. But fuck, it happens, man. Like, shit happens. It's not an easy league. It's not a league that you roll into every week and go, we'll steamroll them. Tonight, like some of the rhetoric from some of our supporters tonight, we should beat them by 5 goals, 6 goals easily. Like, come on, man. You're not giving respect to your opposition if that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of us pre-season would have had this as a split between us and the Giants.
That is exactly what I said tonight to Dan as I was watching the game. I said I had this at 1-1, so I'm not disappointed. I'm disappointed in the performance, of course, but I'm not shocked. Like
at quarter time, different story, because you're like, okay, you've dominated at quarter time. Yeah. You don't think you're losing the match.
That's the most disappointing part, right? Is we had it. It was ours to lose at that point, and we did. Like, we couldn't wrestle back momentum. Is it disappointing? Yeah. Is it something that we've seen this season? No. That's the first time I've seen us not be able to really wrestle back momentum for that long in a game this season. Yeah. Like, that was the most shocking thing for me, was either GWS have gone to another level here, or we have just dropped off a cliff. And it was probably a little bit of both, to be fair. But it's just one of those nights, man. Like, you're not just going to steamroll teams every week. This is reality. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a five game run, beating teams by 10 goals, and then no steak for Joe tonight.
No, I was eating steak actually, and lamb, and Dad put on a nice little barbecue tonight for all of us. It was about 12:30 of us watched the game, and that was good. Dad did well, but mate, like, no panic stations. Let's just pump the brakes a bit. Come on.
Respond next week. Cripps' 200th. I mean, look, this is the second time now that we've looked vulnerable against teams that are willing and able. Not everyone can do it, but teams that are willing and able to run and carry and link up with handball. And
not just that, teams that want to expose us at clearance for our speed, our leg speed at clearance. That was clear tonight. TDK had his colours lowered. Probably, he's had a brilliant month, but Briggs is a premier ruckman in the comp. And if you have a look over the last month, he hasn't really come up against a premier ruck on his own. Not that it's a small sample size, and again, it's not panic stations. TDK will bounce back next week, no doubt. But there's things out of this where, like, we've got a few things that we might learn from tonight, and that's the thing. Like, should we have gone in with 2 rucks tonight, considering it was Briggs, considering we did that last time and it seemed effective? Should we have play George Hewitt, instead of whoever it may be. Should like there's plenty of things should have, could have, would have, and that's what they'll reflect on, and it's something that they'll learn from, whether it be selection committee, playing group, whatever it is. Like we'll know for next time. It's it's not perfect, man. It's not perfect.
Nice little sour taste in the mouth. Hopefully lets us appreciate wins next week.
What was your perspective of it? Like, because I've only just joined, I haven't been able to watch fan cams just yet.
My
but I'm sure someone's asked about it.
My perspective of it was, I think we got a bit comfortable. I think it seemed like it was almost too easy to be true. It was too good to be true. It was just falling our way. We were working hard for it early, and then I think they potentially might have slipped into a comfort zone. And then once you slip into that comfort zone and the opposition's not afraid of you, it's really hard to slip out of it. And then I think it took them way too long to snap out of it. And by that point, it was probably, it was too little too late. It was a timely reminder of how focused you've got to be. Do
you read into...
You look at it pre-game, Giants sitting 10th, Blues sitting second. You know that even if you lose, you're going to be second. Does that play into their minds? Maybe. Only they can answer it.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Do you read into any? So, if you reflect on the Sydney game, we had a similar jump out of the gates, and then it was very, very reminiscent of that Sydney game, other than the fact that we fought back at the end and closed the gap. But we got the jump, and then all of a sudden we went flat. But quarter time came, Weeders was out for 20 minutes of the game. Sydney game, quarter time came, Pitto goes out of the game. Do you read into anything around maybe in performances like that, maybe it just becomes a bit too disjointed for too long, where when key pillars of your system, especially Wiedering, if they're out for that sort of period of a game, is it too much for the playing group without that sort of leadership, especially down back tonight, to be able to really reconfigure and adjust on the fly?
I could see that tonight. I could see the way that some of those contests happened. Some of them were waiting for Wiedering to come over the top and spoil because they're playing within their roles. Like someone's then got to become Wiedering in that moment, but he's not there, but he's going to come back on, but you're not sure.
And it's a flow-on effect, right? Like, clearly, it wasn't just the defense. Like, we lost clearance in that second quarter. That was where they generated a lot of their scoring from, and a lot of their firepower came from getting first use to the football. But obviously, for me, if I reflect on something like that, there's a flow-on effect to both sides. So GWS get their tails up. They know Wiedering's not down there. All they got to do is pump the ball in because they can see how much under pressure we are in our back six without him there. And they get a bit of confidence by just getting the ball in there and getting the ball in there, repeat entry. We go into our shells a bit across the ground going, what the fuck, like we're shell-shocked here. We've got no one down back that's stepping up. The midfield is obviously getting battered. Where's it going to be generated from? And for me, it was pretty obvious. Like, he's off for 20 minutes, they blitzed us, and then we just couldn't get the game back on our terms. Like, it's happened a number of times this year. Maybe it's something as simple as that. We don't know. These are all... Again, it's just opinions. We analyse the game to the nth degree.
I think also to your point, when you allow any team to get confidence, you then give up the ability to control them. And we've done a pretty good job of controlling our opposition over the last 5 weeks. Tonight, we let the Giants find confidence after dominating them. Then we allowed them to find confidence they were going to dominate us, and they smelt blood and they took it. I think full credit to the Giants, man.
I agree.
Like, I know we're Carlton fans and like Carlton's everything, but I mean, from a footy perspective, they were brilliant. They adjusted, they widened the ground, they switched the ball, and then just went for it. And they beat an informed top 2 side tonight.
And they were clean, man. They were clean for like three quarters of that game. They were super clean with ball in hand. So you're right, full credit to them. And we've come back from 6 goals this season. We did an opening round, and everyone gave us full credit. So like at the end of the day, there's 2 teams out there. Of course, we want our team to win, and we're disappointed when they don't. But sometimes you got to look at the oppo and go, they just took it to us tonight, and we just could not respond. It is what it is. It's a blip. It's not a trend. It's a blip. We'll be fine. We'll be fine, man.
Inshallah. See how we go.
Good luck with the rest of band games. Doomsday, man. Doomsday edition.
Take it easy. All right, I've got a couple of people who are calling from overseas, but before that, Nicholas Pastricos with $15 says, our team selection got us up by 40 points in the first quarter. We didn't lose there. We lost because we stopped and allowed them back in. We are second. Heads up and back the boys. Stop fucking blaming individuals. Love your work. Patrick Riley, $8. Says, round 20 last year, we were 7th. Collingwood were first. We beat them by 17 points. They went on to win the flag. This isn't the end of the world. It's a nice little reminder. All right, I've got Ben in Brooklyn. Let's do this, Ben in Brooklyn. Hey, mate.
How you going, Terry?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You can hear me all right, yeah?
Loud and clear.
Wonderful. Well, look, it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of a game and a quick little run. We were never going to go undefeated. And honestly, this was probably the most likely game that we were going to drop on the way home. So it is what it is. And I think that maybe we went a little small to try to stop their run with, more like getting Cottrell in and Chera and taking Hewitt and Pitto out. And it didn't look like it worked, but maybe that was the idea, to try to have some leg speed to keep up with them when they start tsunamiing. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's an interesting point. I'm sure it's going to be a topic of discussion. Team balance, team selection. We're coming into this really crucial, critical part of the year where you've got quite a few guys available now. They're healthy. They're on top of their injuries. And there's selection headaches every week. And the margins are so fine that one loss and you're instantly talking about selection,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Motlop was great this week in the VFL, so maybe he gets another look. I don't know. Fantasia was very quiet. He had the one game where I was really impressed with what he did, and a couple others where I've been fine with it. And then, just I don't know what I need to see from him. I need to see more presence, I think, for me to really get on board with him. I know they see something, and I'm waiting to see it myself,
Yeah.
But
he could be holding a spot. I mean, Jack Martin is the one that I do believe that when he's at his best, he's in the best version of this team. But the reality is he's so unavailable.
Yeah.
That are we too late? Is it too late to get him in now and get him fit? I just it's a big unknown for me at the moment.
It's true. And I mean, even for the Jack Martin spot, I feel like Zach Williams is perfectly stepping up there. I mean, he really, even this game, he just continues to impress. And what I love is I did not see him play when he played for us before this year. And everything people said, he's got a great run. He's a really clever kick and, just like can burst out of stoppage. It just makes so much sense up front. Like he's doing all those things up front and it looks brilliant all of a sudden. And what we've been missing without Jack Martin, really. So, we go on.
We go on. We'll move on. I need to ask a Carlton man from Brooklyn. What's the summary? How did it happen?
My wife's from Melbourne. Her family, I think her great uncle was the vice captain in 1905, something like that. So,
wow,
it's I married into it, and it's fantastic, except when it hasn't been for the last 20 years or so. But we're coming back for the St. Kilda game. We're planning a trip around the St. Kilda game and the first week of finals. So, it'll be good to finally see a home game with this team. The last one we saw was Bolton's last game against Essendon. That was the last time we were, So it's been a while. We're due.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. Thanks so much for calling in. It's been really cool to chat with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Love what you're doing. Really appreciate the therapy you guys provide when we need it. And the, gloating, glazing, call it what you will when we don't need the therapy.
Yeah. No,
see you in the games.
See you, mate.
Cheers. Bye.
Love it. One more who's calling in from overseas. Antonina. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Got me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm okay. Look, I can't be too sad being where I am. I've got a perspective.
Where are
But
you?
I'll try and show you. I'm in Cinque Terre. So I don't know if you're trying to give you a view. Hang on, I'll go over here. In Corniglia, so one of the towns. So I don't know if you can see. There we go.
Oh,
Got my
wow.
water. I don't want to step out on the balcony with my phone. I'm a bit nervous. So it's pretty lovely. And I was enjoying watching the game. I watched the first half. And then we were sort of out and about for the second half and sort of caught the last 10 minutes. So I was sort of tracking the scores. But yeah, look, that first quarter, fantastic. I thought, this is amazing.
It was perfect.
And then
it was like we had found the magic ingredient. I mean, I'm still a little bit confused as to what happened, to be honest. It was so good and then so bad.
Same. Like they kicked that last goal, that's sort of their last goal in that first quarter, and you think, oh, okay, well, that's fine. We're still way ahead. We should, if we continue doing what we're doing, we should be fine. Even if they sort of, you think they're going to come back at you a little bit, but yeah, then it's just like we stopped, and yeah, I think the weirdest, it felt like that Sydney game in terms of, we had that blistering first quarter and then Weeders gets injured. And I mean, look, these aren't reasons why, I mean, look, it probably does play a part, but you think, oh, it's feeling like that again. It's sort of really strange.
Do you know what was weird? I'll tell you how I saw it. I remember when Wiedering got hurt, I thought, well, we are going so well, almost too well. And it was like something out there just wanted to just let us know, like, you found it. Okay, great. Now we're just going to take it away for a little moment. Like the sequence of events of DeConing doing his ankle and then Wiedering going down and the way we just completely folded. It was almost happened. Like it was like a reminder that, first of all, Jacob Wiedering's our most important player. And then secondly, do we need to keep developing some of these guys in defense to, be better one-on-one? It was just like a real reminder of how important he is to us. And 20 minutes without him changes.
Yeah.
It does. It changes the way we defend and set up.
It does. And even I think Garver was off at some point too. He came off before Weeders came off. So it's like, so we sort of, that back line sort of had a bit of disruption, even if they came back on. And as in TDK going off sort of at the, early on and then having, getting restrapped and all of that. So look, we were still so far ahead. You thought, okay, well, it looks like they're, we seem to be managing, but it'd be good. It's good to have this lead because I thought if they're going to come back and these injuries are going to maybe affect us later on in the game, if people are having to get subbed off or whatever. And that was when I saw TDK go off. I thought, oh, Pitto, we probably needed a Pitto in backup. But,
when I see Kennedy in the ruck,
that surprised me this week. Yeah. That and when I saw Hewitt as an emergency, I'm like, oh, that's odd too. So look, I'm not a match committee. I'm not too across, but they just sort of seem real sort of standout, interesting choices to me. But I sort of got to trust in what they're doing. But yeah. It was
so. What's
a
the
little bit
series
baffling.
of events? What does the next few weeks look like? You're going to be traveling for a little while now, or are you back?
So
soon?
I'll be back Saturday morning. So I want to get to the Bulldogs game, and now that I know it's Cripper's 200th, I thought I really do need to get myself to that game. So
you do.
I think that'll work out well. We could flying in the morning. I'll just have a bit of a rest, and then that'll sort of perk me up, hopefully. And then sort of sit, and then so then we're pretty much back. I mean, there'll be a few games we'll miss here and there for certain things, but I'll get to most of them hopefully when we get back. So
cool. Well,
it's been it's good. 2 out of 3 has been all right, I suppose. Better than
Well, you look tanned. You look fresh and happy. Hope you've had a good trip.
Sorry, I think the connection's a bit funny.
See you at Cripps' 200.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. And it's been good to keep up with everything while I've been away. So tuning into the channels and all the shows. So thanks for that. And we'll see you when I'm back.
Sounds good. Go Blues.
Thanks. See you, Terry. Bye.
Amazing. All right. Ed, is that you? No. Dan?
Yo, what's happening, mate?
Mate, an hour and 15 removed from the final siren. It's a bit of a reality check, huh?
Yeah, that was emphatic, I reckon. That was very surprising. You got to give it to them because, I mean, far out after their last, month and a half of footy and the fact that they were, 5 goals down at quarter time to do that turnaround, that's all them, hats off to them.
That's the thing as well. I mean, different story if the Giants just came out of the blocks and, put it on us, but we were playing our best footy, what looked like our best footy all year. And so we're at our top form and they still were able to do what they did.
Yeah, turn that around. That's just, mate, that was some serious footy. I couldn't believe it was like they took some tablets at quarter time or something that gave them like unlimited speed and endurance, something like that, because I could not believe their run.
Yeah.
The run with the ball, the run when they didn't have the ball, just their waves, the whole, the tsunami, as they say. But that was as big as I've ever seen it, really. I mean, so, fair play to them.
No,
we just didn't,
mate, it's a reminder. You just can't think that you are, best for too long. The comp is way too tight for you.
No,
any
exactly
team
right. Yeah.
to get even 20 minutes of overconfidence can ruin you.
I was at a friend's house tonight, and a couple of us watching it, and they're just like, "Oh, look at the Blues, and I'm like, "Oh no, just take it easy because 2024 footy is a lot different to how it was 20 years ago, and the speed of the game, it can change in a heartbeat." And what you just said pretty much mimicked what I said in the fact that it can just change so quick.
Yeah, well, you got 666. You got these new rules as well. Like you've got space at stoppage after goals.
Yeah.
Even us. I mean, I don't think we were. Oh, there was a little moment there. I think when Akers kicked his goal, I thought, yeah, we can do this. But then all of a sudden, Cripps is streaming through the middle. I think gets the handball over to Walsh. We didn't end up getting a clean entry from it. But in that moment, it's like, well, we could have even pinched it.
Yeah, I mean, we needed three scores to win, but so I was more like Miller was, really getting up and about. But I'm like, no, we need 3 scores, and I had it in my head the whole time that because we're pressing so much, and their run that they had and their carry, as soon as they got a sniff and a bit of possession, they were going to just be able to slingshot and go over the back of us and kick a goal from the goal square.
Yeah.
So, which actually didn't happen. Surprisingly, did we hold them scoreless or goalless in the last quarter?
No, I don't.
Or
think
maybe
we
kicked
did.
one. Maybe kicked one.
I don't think we did.
Because I don't think we kicked more than 5. We were 6 goals down at 3/4 time. The disappointing one was at the end of the third quarter. We're going inside 50, and Williams, I think he sort of faked the kick, and then he got called play on.
Turnover.
And then he just went for the kick and turnover and a goal, and it was like, you know what, that was potentially, obviously we still had to score, but that could have been a 2-goal turnaround. So as opposed to being 4 goals down, we could have been 4 goals down, we were 6 goals down. And I was like, I think that was the turning point. That was it.
That was a critical moment, that 2-goal swing, no doubt.
Yeah. And I think there was a few of those tonight. And I think they just did it because their run, their pressure, and they just far out, man. As I said, that was pretty impressive, I must say. So they just beat us tonight. It's as simple as that. And can't win them all, mate.
Can't win them all, but we need to win next week because we've got to just keep.
So I had, funnily enough, I had these 2 next games, Giants and Bulldogs. I had them 1-1. I had we'll lose one of these games, and I'm quite happy that we lost this game because fucking off, I can't imagine losing Cripps' 200th man next week.
No, can't happen.
No. And then I mean, how many marks did Hogan take in packs of 48 defenders tonight.
Mate, he was special. I think he took 5 or 6 contested marks. Like he was,
mate. And like there was a few other guys as well. I think even Riccardi took a couple big pack marks as well. Their hands were so sticky tonight, and ours were just it just wasn't happening for us tonight. But anyway, as I said, you have these off nights and that's it. I mean, I've played sport all my life, still play sport, and fuck, man, you just have these off days and off nights and can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, on to next week. Are we selling the club or no?
Are we what?
Are we selling the club?
Are we selling the club? Well, it depends who you ask. I saw 7 selection changes on Instagram at halftime.
7. Right.
I saw quite a few guys going out of the side and coming back in. But I mean, that's just that's us. We're emotional. We are. We're everywhere. We're so unique. It's
oh my god. I think it's every fan base. I think it's every fan base. Which is
I actually I love it. I think sometimes we need to be reminded that it's going to be okay, but the passion comes out in different ways. It spills over in different ways.
Everyone is a fucking retard when it comes to losses, man. I tell you, it's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Anyway, mate, let's regroup and be back next week.
So, mate, Miller will be on next week. All going well. Too late for her tonight.
Make sure she's got her notes ready.
That's it, mate. Baggers, let's go.
Love it. Go Blues.
Catch you, mate.
See you, mate. Aiden.
You know what I did at halftime? I went through your comments and I just started laughing, and it kind of made me a bit more happier.
Happier?
Because I was pissed off after the second quarter, and I was that angry. I'm like, just let me go through his comment sections and maybe put on a smile on my face. But
it is funny. Not gonna lie, like I used to get a bit upset about it, but it is quite funny sometimes. I just read through. I'm like, wow, why did I even ask?
But anyway, no, I'm not really that pissed off about it. I'm not upset about that loss. But the one thing that I am frustrated about is that we're playing this brutal brand of footy, and then that after quarter time, it just dropped off. And then the fact that we blew a 39-point lead kind of, it's not worrying, but it's like kind of disappointing. But I'm just glad that we finished the way we did, to be honest with you, because it would have gone really, really ugly, really ugly. But then again, GWS, they needed to win tonight because practically this game was their season, if I'm being honest. And they took their opportunities, and we unfortunately didn't. But yeah, I reckon Pitta would have been perfect for this game, to be honest with you. TDK, he looked underdone. Cottrell looked underdone. Charlie looked underdone as well. We had a lot of players that just didn't look.
Did you see? I saw some comments earlier. I didn't see Charlie do his ankle pre-game. Did you see it? Was it on TV somewhere?
No,
I don't remember hearing them speak about it.
No, because I asked a couple of people that were at Sydney, and they didn't say anything either. Because apparently on Twitter it was like really, really bad, and then people said, "Oh, he's fine, he's fine." But throughout the game, he was playing deep. Normally he plays kind of high up, but he was just really, really deep, and he really didn't impact it at all today. And I don't know. He hasn't played well for 2 weeks, let's face it. But I reckon, I don't know. I think it's the same ankle that he did against North, to be honest with you.
Early in the year.
But, yeah, early in the year. But Wiedering going down with how much? It's his like 6th cork now. Should S&C like have a look at it? Because all right, you get 1 cork, a 2nd cork, but if you're getting 5 or 6,
Aiden, it's what's there to do? What do you mean S&C? What do you mean S&C?
No, I'm not blaming S&C, but I'm just saying, like, should someone have a look at it? Because like it's happening frequently.
It's extremely unlucky. Honestly,
because when it is really unlucky, but when he went off, our structure just fell off. Like people are blaming Kemp, but what can Kemp do when he hasn't got Wiedering beside him? Like if I'm being honest, but yeah, I don't know. Cripps was just unbelievable. He was unreal today. But yeah, what do we do next week? Play Dogs, Crippers 200th, and yeah, hopefully we just get the job done. But what do you think about it? What do you think it went wrong?
I think we went a little bit too far away from our contest.
Yeah. Do you reckon
I
PO
can
would have helped
see
with that?
I can definitely see we're evolving and we're becoming this team that really punishes you off turnover, and you need to have a good balance of that. I think we tried to go a little too far into that tonight, and then we came up against a side who can do that at a really high level, and they found their form doing it. And once they found their form again, I mean, the Giants have been looking for that form for about a
Yeah.
month now.
Let's not forget that they were undefeated at the first half of the season. So they're not a joke.
Yeah. And then once they found themselves, they weren't letting go of themselves. So credit to them. But teams that can run with that type of speed and burst, they hurt us.
If you're like you said it throughout the week, you said if you're 5% off, a lot can change. Like, doesn't matter if we're 40 points up, 5 goals up, everything can change. But look, I don't know. People want to drop him, drop that. I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. But personally, I'd keep TDK. Hopefully Wiedering's all right. But at some stage, we really need to give him a rest. So, yeah, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Trust me.
I like it.
We'll
I think we'll be all right. Tim English next week. It's a nice matchup. We'll see what we do. They've got some height as well. The Dogs.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Do you bring in another defender or someone for that height?
No, I think we can cover it with what we've got. I think.
Because a lot of people have been saying, Marchbank. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I want to see Motlop next week. He needs to come in.
Bring him back in. He's had some nice form. It's a nice time getting some touch in the VFL.
Yeah.
So
the good thing about it is that even the players that are in the VFL, they're doing really well, and that someone said it before, like that gives the players that are playing a heads up, because if you're not doing well, your position is like under scrutiny. So yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah,
we'll be fine.
Aiden, good stuff, mate. Thanks for calling up.
See you next week.
See ya. Yanni de Mercedes with the $3 says Hudson O'Keefe in for Cripps, has to happen. Go Blues. Very good. Guff's email became a Blue Abroad member. Thanks, mate. Ed. Sorry, not Ed.
G'day, Terry. No, it's Damon. How are you? Yeah, I can go by Ed if you want, if it makes you feel more comfortable.
I had you in earlier. Sorry, I have to. I had you in earlier down the bottom, and I'm like, oh, that's Ed, but like that's not his name. Sorry, mate. Damon.
Sorry, no, all good, mate. All good. First time on, mate, and really love your stuff as well, by the way. I did turn off my camera because I went and got some water and a bit of a drink. So, sorry to confuse you there.
No, it's on me. It's my bad. Talk to me.
All good. Yeah, I mean, I can understand the pain and frustration from fans, but like you said, it's one of those things that it's kind of like a loss needed to have. The Giants are a really good outfit, and a lot of people probably forget so fleetingly how good they were in the first part of the season. But tonight they just found us out. I think the frustration probably stems from the fact that we were going so well. And it almost was like an extension upon, like the second half from last week against the Tigers, where we were just incredible. And then I don't know what it was. It was it's really hard to put your finger on, isn't it? Like in terms of the mentality, the psychology behind being so far in front and then it just being flipped on its head. It's, I mean, tactically, you could probably say like there's a couple of things that, like, I think Pitney would have been perfect against big body ruckman, like similar to the previous round against Nank. Like, I was actually relieved when TDK was laid out, because I was like, he's going to get absolutely beaten to a pulp by Nank. And Pitney as well. Like there were moments there where he actually got kneed quite a bit in the ruck, but I think tonight that would have been helpful. Probably speaks for itself, but yeah, the midfield dominance from the Giants, like incredible, like uncontested possessions. We had 180, they had 262, like just
That
off
was
the
the stat
charts.
was. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think the commentators were saying it was one part of our game that's a strength from week to week, but like that just kind of sums up the space, the time they had to use the footy, and the midfield dominance from that, and probably stemmed from Briggs as well, that he was just absolutely ragdolling TDK. But yeah, it was like there's so many moments like tactically. I mean, and probably makes me think as well with Charlie. Like I remember even in the early part of the season where he was actually thrown back, different games where the opposition were kind of getting a bit of a run on, had sort of the stranglehold in the game, and Charlie was thrown back as that sort of spare man in defence to drift in and really utilise his marking prowess. But I thought that was going to happen, especially when Weeders went off with that massive corky, kind of exposed us a bit. And the ball, we couldn't get the ball into our forward half. And I'm like, is there much use keeping Charlie there? And he was getting double teamed as well, as we know that. I think that there would have been some use for him down there, but I'm like, is he injured? Is he carrying something? Which I think some people have actually suggested as well, but it was just an off game for him. It's good to see Harry perform as well as he did, which is pleasing. But
Yeah.
it was
But
one of
hey,
those things, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's good for him to be building that sort of confidence and form. I thought early on when I saw him and Zach Williams hit the scoreboard to the level that they did. Like I know right now we've lost the game, it doesn't matter as much, but they are two guys that at times form is important for them, especially kicking goals. So for Harry to kick straight and for Zach to hit the scoreboard again and just sort of prove his worth in that role, they are important building blocks.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's we'll come back from it. I think it's probably, as I said, like it's a loss. It's a cliche, but when you're a developing side, success just doesn't come overnight. You need to build resilience. I mean, look at the Dons when they won the flag back in 2000. They had that loss they needed to have against the Dogs. And, we've had a few, obviously more than that across the journey so far this year. But, look at Collingwood last year. Someone made a good point in the comments earlier that they turned their form around at the drop of a hat. It looked as though I remember they were wheeling out stats in terms of a premiership side, to be where they were, consecutive losses going to the finals, to turn things around. It can turn so quickly, as we know in footy. But yeah, it's one of those things. We build from it. We'll work out what went wrong and everything else. But the one thing that I guess I was frustrated with was like our entry inside forward 50 was so clean early on, like leads galore. Whereas I think we were kind of just panicking when the Giants started to get on top of us, and we just bombed in aimlessly, just to the top of the heads of, both Charlie and Harry. And I'm like, where are the leads at? Like, I know that similar sort of thing to last week with Richmond. They did so well to corral our tall forwards just by guarding space and just flooding back. But with Charlie having like two players on his head most times, it's like just try and just leading patterns, or even just use him as a decoy. He's obviously got that extra defender on him. Someone else, therefore, doesn't have a defender. Is it Harry, or is there another player that we can target and sort of use Charlie as a decoy? Or I don't know. But yeah, there's a few things that I would have liked to have seen switched up. Nothing to lose. I mean, you're already behind the 8 ball anyway. But yeah, it was one of those things.
Yep. Must respond next week.
Yeah, bit of a danger. I always knew this was going to be a danger game, this one. I mean, backs against the wall, the Giants. But next week kind of reeks of that as well. The Dogs, off the back of a bad loss today, they need to win to keep their reach within the top 8. So we'll see what happens. But resilience, it builds successful sides. So we'll see what happens.
Mate, absolutely loved listening to you talk. In actual fact, you share the same trait as Ed. I love listening to both of you talk. That was really cool. Thanks for calling in.
No worries. Thanks, mate. All the best.
See you, mate. All right. Beachy. You there? Beachy? You are silent. I can't hear you at the moment. Just get you to fix your mic. I'll come back to you. Zach Borg.
Hey, Tez. How are we?
Bit disappointed tonight, Zachy.
Yeah. Well, it was just one of those games, you know. We can't win them all, you know, and that's football, you know. Like, we're not going to win every game, and you know, we have to, you know, build resilience and you know, learn from where we lost the game tonight. And I really think that we lost the game from our defence. I think our defence wasn't confident tonight, especially when Wiedering was on the bench. I think, how long was he on the bench for? About 15 minutes, was it?
About 15, nearly 20. It was
Yeah.
nearly, it was
Yeah, I
nearly
think so.
20 minutes.
Yeah, and I was a bit like confused about always being the sub. Like, I reckon, like, I don't know, like, because we really didn't have a genuine small forward besides Orazio that and Fogarty and all that, but and Williams, which was good early, but it just I don't reckon it was the right choice because how did
I'm
you
with
see
you.
it, Terry? I didn't like.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, I think we tried a few too many things in this game.
Yeah.
Unless this is the team that we want to try and become, you know,
Yeah.
with a lot more running power, and this is just what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
obviously they wanted
I'm
to try
not
something.
really confident with it. I reckon there's a lot of changes to be made next week. I reckon, you know, Marchbank should come in next week. Like, looking at his VFL stats, he didn't have the best of games, but the Dogs having a really tall defence, maybe, you know, he's an option. I reckon Pito next week, he has to come in because genuinely the Dogs have some, you know, TDK won't be able to run with English. He'll get, you know, English is a big, tall ruckman. I reckon we need to go back to Pito and TDK. Like, we just have to find out a way to make it work because it worked in those two finals last year. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Do you think Pito should come in, or like it has to? In my opinion, it has to happen.
Do I think Pito comes in next week? Well, he played well in the VFL today. He had 25 possessions and 33 hitouts. They got the win. I think one of him or George Hewitt should play.
Yeah, 100%. I reckon we really missed George Hewitt. I reckon we did. I mean, we just, yeah. I don't know, Terry. There'll definitely be a couple of changes next week. I reckon. You know, Harry had an amazing game. Like, I really think he really did step up. He didn't miss tonight. You know, he was, you know, Charlie and I having the best of nights. I reckon he really stepped up and he, you know, he really, you know, probably led the forward line tonight. Usually it's Charlie leading, you know, the forward line. But yeah, Terry, we'll just see next week against the Dogs. Go Blues, and we just have to bounce back in Crippers 200th.
Well said, Zach. Good on you, mate.
All right. Have a good night, Terry. Go Blues.
Yeah. Bye. Beachy, let's give it another shot. Hello, mate.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How are you?
Yeah, look, I'm a little annoyed, obviously, but that's how it is these days. You know, you go to Sydney and you play a game of footy and you either win or you lose. So here we are again.
Sydney's not been a very good part of the world for us this year, has it?
No, it hasn't. And you know, look, I could try and give you something lyrical about what went wrong, what went right, what we could have done, what we should have done. but I'd just be wasting my breath at this point because Hogan killed us the entire night. Charlie Kerner, despite kicking his goal, eventually was pretty much taken to a rodeo and beaten up by a couple of cowboys. And it was disappointing to see, despite the fact that Captain Cripps led from the front, even if we had the good first quarter.
Tell you what, his second quarter goal against the Flow, I thought that was going to be what we needed to turn the tide. It looked like it was. I think Fantasia kicks a goal right afterwards, and it wasn't through a lack of effort from the skipper tonight. That's for sure.
God no. A shout out to Harry. He pretty much kept us in it for at least 75% of the game. Kicking those 3 goals earlier in the first quarter, and then that we don't see him for a little bit, and then gets one again, and I guess that's just how it is. No Josh Kelly for the Giants tonight. I was thinking, okay, we might actually be a shot here. But, no Josh Kelly for the Giants, no worries. Plenty of cover for them.
Yeah. Were you more shocked or disappointed in the turnaround?
Probably disappointed because, you could say GWS are going to come at us. There's no question about that. But the question that always gets asked of its side is when a side like that gets pushed a bit like that, how is the side that has given them that to begin with going to respond? And I got my answer in that third quarter because did we do anything? Didn't look like it. GWS just continued their form in that second quarter.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to review this game without giving full credit to the Giants for that. And we've got to learn how to. I thought we had learned how to not allow these run-ons to happen. It hasn't happened like that for a while, to be fair, with this group. So we've got to get on top of that as soon as possible, because before you know it, you're one game away from your season being over once you play finals footy. So we've got to be ready and sharp and focused.
Well, that's right. We saw it happen with this group earlier in the year. Funnily enough, it was the opening round of the season, and fortunately we were able to peg that back. So that was ideal then. But that was Brisbane. This is GWS. You can't compare apples to oranges in this instance.
That's true. What's the key message for the turnaround next week?
Okay, so we know there's no Aaron Norton for the Western Bulldogs this coming game. He is out with concussion, so that's no problem. We don't have to worry about him. The key contest for me will be out of the middle. Liberatore, Bontempelli, Johannesson off half-back, Karmas at half-forward. You have to take it to them. Excuse me. And you also have to take it to English. Thank you. You have to take it to English as well. You have to take it to English in the ruck. We don't do that. They get access to the ball and they punish us going the other way. Fortunately, we're at home, even though it's a Bulldogs home game. So we now need to make sure that we take it to them from the first bounce.
Yep. No. Can't let tonight become a trend under any circumstance.
No, that's right. Absolutely. Not when we've got the likes of the Western Bulldogs and North Melbourne coming up.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. Beachy, love your work, mate. Thanks for calling in.
No worries, Terry. Speak to you soon.
There you are. Tyler.
Terry, how you going, mate?
Mate, we lose one game and the whole place fucking burns to the
I know.
burns to the ground. It's all
I
happening.
know.
It's
I know.
it's crazy. It's crazy what happens after a loss.
I know.
Fuck.
Oh, like seriously, are we at DEFCON friggin' 1 now? Like seriously,
We're talking about fucking socialism in the fucking live chat of the fucking thing.
that when I read that in the chat, I actually had to pause the game for a second so I could actually read that comment. And I'm going, those comments. I'm going, what? It has nothing to do with the footy. It has nothing to do with the footy.
Same people will complain that the game's becoming too political and keep politics out of sport, but they'll come in the live chat, talk about communism.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I know.
It's amazing.
It's ridiculous. But look, to be honest, mate, look, it wasn't a good game. I mean, that's just being honest. It wasn't a good game. And first quarter was you could have fooled me with the first quarter, to be honest. It was a really good first quarter. But I agree with Pom and Paul Sebastiani that this is a reminiscence of the Sydney game in a sense, but then again, the Sydney game, like, we got blown out of the water by 60-something points.
Yeah.
But this was definitely reminiscent of the prelim, 100%. However, I think, and I agree with some of what you've been saying, I think it was we got too comfortable with that lead. And I think we went into that mindset, right, we are 39 points up. Okay. All we need to do now is stem the flow a little bit, get 2, maybe 3 goals a quarter, take the possession, slow controlled play. We'll run the game out like that. However, they couldn't turn it on. That was they literally just stopped. I don't know what happened. I think we don't know what happened, Terry. But look, well, you got to give credit to GWS. Look, they're impressive. They were very impressive. The only thing that's going to piss me off is if this is going to be their kickstart, and then we have to face them in a prelim or a final. That's what, and especially if they get a home final, that's going to piss me off.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know. I've got a question for you, Terry. Over the last couple of years, how come, besides a couple of the Gold Coast games when we were up at the Gold Coast, why do we struggle playing away from Melbourne? I don't know why.
I don't know what the answer is. I thought we start. I mean, what's our record interstate this year? Is it so Adelaide twice?
Yeah, but I think more like, because Gather Round, that was kind of up in the air in a sense, because it's like we weren't playing against a team with a home field advantage in a sense.
Right.
So, like,
So
with
Adelaide,
Freo, but like
2-2.
Yeah, 2-2, something like that. So it's a mixed bag in a sense. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just the mindset when we it might be a mindset when we travel or something. Like, who knows?
I watched a really interesting snippet. I forgot who sent it to me. Apologies. And it was Luke Hodge talking on a panel, maybe in radio, about his time with Andrew Russell. And he was saying that Andrew Russell was really strict with the Hawthorn players when they played away, that no matter what they did when they went away, they had to make sure that they did exactly the same routine as what they would do on a game day. So if game day in Melbourne, they go for a walk and get a coffee, walk the dog or whatever, like, they made sure to like emulate the game day routine as much as possible. So not eating at the buffet breakfast, for example, because you wouldn't do that morning of a game in Melbourne. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what the answer is to your question about interstate, but they're not easy.
No, they're not easy. But look, but in the end as well, and to add on a further point, and I think you touched on this, and I actually kind of agree with it, is, but I'll use this reference. Look at Collingwood. Like, they've got a very good back line. We know that. Like, you've got Mychek, you've got Maynard, you've got Darcy Cameron, and all of those great players, right? Darcy Cameron, you would say, is their general. Obviously, he's the one down the back, right?
Mm.
And it would be no different with Melbourne with Stephen May.
Right.
Now, when Wiedering went off, and maybe also, like, you could also add when McGovern was also off as well, I think that exposed one flaw, just a slight flaw with our defense, is that when certain players are off, the leadership in the back line, the leadership suffers a little bit because they don't know what to do. In a sense, they're relying on certain, like, you could see also, you sometimes see Newey really trying to yell at them, like, move, 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 but it was too late.
Yeah.
It was too late. And so I think that really needs to be addressed in a sense, because we're not always going to have Wiedering. We're not going to always have the likes of Newman in there or anything like that. We need to have a little bit of stability. And I think as well, what we miss is, in terms of stability, is Doherty. Because I guarantee if he was playing, I reckon we would have thrown him in the back line, and then that would have settled. I reckon that would have settled the back line a little bit, but that's my opinion. But look, all in all, we need to do better. We need to do better. That's all it is. It was just effort. It was purely effort, and the midfield really needed to step up 100%. And that came from after the second quarter, because we weren't sticking tackles. We weren't having any sort of ball. We weren't having any run. We weren't having any. Quite frankly, we didn't even get any access to the ball, to be honest, because GWS was swamping us.
Yeah.
And but oh well, look,
we'll have to move on.
It's an outlier.
Yeah, we'll have to move
it's an
on.
outlier, to be honest.
I hope so, mate. I hope so.
Yeah,
I believe so. I believe they've put enough into this season to prove that this was an off night. But having said that, switch back on, get back at it next Saturday.
Yeah, and I reckon literally, just very quickly, that I reckon we'll take it to the Western Bulldogs. They look a little bit exposed, and I do feel that also tactically, like we've mentioned this a few times, like I think it was a mixture. It was a perfect storm in a sense of tactics, selection, and effort.
Sorry to cut you off, but we're gonna have to move on because
that's right, mate.
I've got like 7 people waiting.
Yeah, I understand.
But thanks so much for calling in.
No worries, mate.
All right, mate. See ya. All right, let's move along quickly because I don't know what's going on in the live chat. You guys are acting wild. I don't know what has happened tonight and why you think it's cool to just act like children, but we need to move along quickly. I don't really want to be dealing with it, to be honest. So can we make these ones pretty short, please? Let's get to the point. Evan, how are you?
Hey, mate. What a wild! You're right. Chat has been wild, bro.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, I don't actually understand what's happened tonight.
I've just been like monitoring and been like, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool. Anyone who's like having a go to dig a Dan, like seriously, like come on.
What are we doing? Anyway, let's talk about the football, because the people that complain that politics and sport are all of a sudden bringing it in, and to be honest, I can't be fucked dealing with it. Like, stop it. Just swipe out of YouTube and go to bed. Because
I think we all need a good long sleep after that one.
Yeah.
maybe I'll give some positives. I thought Kennedy had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
H got his 5. Look, I know it's hard to find positives in a loss like that, but years gone by, we would have got blown out in a game like that. So, I think it's been said, if you're 1% off, you're basically 100% off. And full credit to GWS. They just outplayed us. They played a really good game, and games on the road are hard to win. So yeah, we got touched up a bit, but still sitting second on the ladder. So I think it's all in front of us, really.
Yeah.
I was hoping that we wouldn't get the toys out with the bathwater reaction, but it comes. We're all passionate, so it comes with it. But
I don't know if it'll ever not happen.
no. And
Yeah.
far be it from me to tell someone how to support their club, but when we start going at each other, it just gets a tad bit petty for me.
Absolutely, mate. Looking forward to next week. Very much
Yeah,
looking forward.
we'll get down there and we'll make it loud and cheer on Cripper in his 200th.
Yeah. You going?
Yeah, definitely. Can't miss that one.
Full sellout. I reckon we'll get 47, 48. That was close to 50 next week.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's Cripper's 200, so if we're not packing the joint out, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mate.
Well, thanks, Terry. And one of those nights, eh?
One of those nights, mate. We're just getting a little late. It's all good. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Speak soon. Ciao.
See you, mate. Josh, hey, mate.
Hey. How you going?
Tough night.
Yeah, I was there.
You were there?
Yeah, first interstate game. I'll leave tomorrow. Got to be out by probably 9:30. Fucking... Oh. What happened?
You had your Giants stadium experience. We've all been
That's
there.
what I was thinking.
I'm so happy I didn't go. I'm so happy.
Oh, bro. I couldn't believe it. We were flying in the first quarter and the wheels fell off. I don't know what happened, but look, it's not the end of the world. I mean, we can carry on and say Vossi needs to be sacked or all this bullshit that I'm just sick of hearing. But no, it is what it is. I think Weeders, we got challenged. McGovern goes down. Weeders is off for a period. TDK does his ankle, and everything that could have gone wrong tonight went wrong. I think we got too stable. I think. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you because obviously you were there. What? It was perfect, and then it was just we hit a brick wall.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we just got too comfortable. I think that's what it really all comes back down to. We're up 39 points, and I'm thinking at quarter time, wow, this is a massive lead. Charlie's not even hit the scoreboard yet. Imagine when he starts to hit the scoreboard. I think it fell apart in the midfield, to be honest. I think that's where it fell apart to me. People were going on about Charlie. I think his second efforts definitely need to be better. That's one thing I noticed tonight. But how can you have a go at the bloke when the ball isn't even going near him for most of the game? It was for pretty much, aside from that first quarter, our forwards didn't really get a look at it. To be honest, I thought. So that was my take on the whole Charlie thing, because I know that's been spoken about a bit tonight.
Did you see? Were you were there? I'm assuming at least 30, 40 minutes before the game.
Yeah.
So did you see anything with Charlie pre-game? People were saying that he rolled his ankle. Did you see any of that?
I didn't see that. They were warming up in front of me, but I didn't see any of that. So
yeah,
I didn't see that. One thing I also noticed, and this is when I knew that I was like, oh shit, this, they need to get their act together. You know how Sadi always is, he is able to make that contest. You know what I mean? He always makes it. There was a contest tonight. He didn't make it, and I was just like, usually he makes those. And I thought that's
something's off when he's not making it in that last split second.
Yeah, he always manages to make it, and we'll fucking get up and cheer. And it didn't happen tonight as often as it usually does. And then I just realized, really, it's coming down to the whole team. And this is good because look, we're what September's a while away, and it's good to have these questions thrown at us now because it gives us time to, have the discussion about moving players back and forth, and also like we can't get too comfortable. That's the reality. This game is. Look at how tight the top 8 is at the moment. Fuck, Hawthorn could make it. I mean, probably not, but like mathematically, they could make it. Yeah, that's my take on it at least, mate.
Yeah. Well, mate, thanks for calling in.
Mate, we'll be all right for next week. Go the Blues. Stay positive, everyone.
See you, mate. Lucas.
G'day, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How you doing?
Oh, just so disappointing. I was actually really excited for this one. I thought we were going to do it. I was a bit nervous because, they're obviously in bad form and they were really looking for a win. But I don't know. I don't know what felt worse, the fact that we choked that massive lead in the first quarter or the fact that we just didn't respond in the third quarter, because we were only up by 2 points at half time. And that's when you sort of think, oh, surely we're going to go on a bit of a run now, start to pull away. But we just kept, getting smashed in the third quarter. And when we were starting to come back towards the end, I was just thinking to myself, like, oh, why couldn't we do that earlier?
It's a really interesting point. There wasn't a harsh response after halftime. Like usually we've been okay mid-quarter at fixing things. For whatever reason, that wasn't the case tonight. And then, even in that third, it just kept blowing out. Truly bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, because especially in the last game we played against them in round 6 at Marvel, like in the second quarter, we weren't doing great. And then it was that third quarter when we just started to blitz them. Whereas I was sort of expecting us to do that in the third quarter. Obviously, I was upset that we'd blown that lead, but I feel like it was mainly the third quarter that was the biggest disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Even though pretty much everyone played shit, Cripps was just amazing. It felt like 2018 for the second and third quarter, like just Cripps dominating, but no one else was really able to play well. Except I thought Mackay was good, especially in the first quarter. It's good that he kicked 5 straight. Yeah, just I wasn't really expecting us to do anything towards the end. Like I felt the game was over with about 10 minutes or so left, but at least the margin was smaller than it should have been.
Made a bit of a game of it in the end. Did you think we're going to pinch it?
Nah.
For a split
Not at
second?
all.
Yeah. I probably started believing just when Akers kicked that goal. I'm like, oh, we're a chance. No, we're not a chance. Very quickly
I
it
agree.
evaporated. Yeah.
I was really disappointed that Hewitt didn't play like before when the teams came out. I was shocked that he got dropped because even though he was the sub last week, I just thought that he's just a good player to have. And honestly, for the last few weeks, I've been thinking that probably Hollands should go to the VFL for a bit because he doesn't really look like he's fully up to it yet. I feel like he's just got a bit of time to do in the resis.
Bit of learning.
Yeah.
Well, I think the more of these senior guys become available, the more cutthroat it's going to be for spots. So let's see. Let's see.
Yeah.
Hey, is this your first fan cams?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. No, appreciate you calling in, man.
All right.
Awesome. See you next week. Go Blues.
Yeah. Hopefully we win for Cripps' 200.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. See ya.
Bye.
All right. Andy.
Hey, Tess. If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
That's true. That's
That's
very
just-
true. We used to say that a lot here.
I don't know
It's a
what
good-
the hell's happened in this chat, but like, Jesus Christ. Like,
I
what's
think it's just one
happened?
of those nights. No, I think there's a balance between just giving things airtime. Everyone just needs to calm down. Let's just chill out. We lost a game
Yeah.
of football.
I mean, it's just a game at the end of the day. The
Yep.
the footy's a really long season, so it's not like it's going to end in just 3 months. It's going to end like half the year anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm getting back to the game. I'm gonna get back to the game quickly. So this bottle here, this empty bottle, used to be Carlton's first quarter, right? And then what happened after that quarter? The bottle's on the floor and it can't move anymore. We're stuck. We just didn't find a response. And we just struggled to really move anywhere.
We dropped our bundle, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because despite the fact that we lost by 12 points, I mean, I don't blame people that got annoyed over the fact that we had like an 8-goal lead starting the first and that we just couldn't really find a response anywhere else after that. I don't blame them. But I knew, again, like the Giants, again, someone did say that this was the game that if they had lost, then their season could be on the line. And you know what? Hey, good game for the Giants. I feel like they were a lot more, I'd say, composed, and that their ball use in this game, I was pretty impressed with, to be absolutely fair. It's
not the first time we've seen them play like that. It's probably the first time they've looked that dangerous since the last time we played them, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that was back at Marvel, to be fair.
Yeah. And then all that. So, look, they found their form, the Giants, tonight. Unfortunately, we literally played them into form.
Yeah, I don't know why. We just keep, for some reason, every time an opposition team starts finding their true hunger, we just sometimes seem to respond to their hunger too quickly, and that we just get distracted by it too much, you know?
Yeah. No, well done to the Giants for finding their form.
Yeah, definitely.
Andy, Bugs Buzz right. Andy, you need to go pick up that bottle, mate. Pick up that bottle so we can find our form again.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. Look, listen. I'm going to keep this bottle for the Bulldogs game because next week is my birthday. So I want them to win for my 19th next week.
Very good. All right. Well, fingers crossed, mate. We'll speak to you next week.
Yeah, you know what? Just calm down, people. Just have some faith in your club, right? I've said this during the Essendon fan camps, right? Just maintain the composure, all right? Don't let emotions get the best of you, right? Tez, honestly, buddy, you deserve way better than what you got tonight. I'm sorry that you had to suffer through it. But you know what? Hey.
I got the easy part, mate. This is fine for me. It's just, I just don't want there's no need for the things to blow up over a loss tonight like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, if we stay composed, if we just look at the facts, we were beaten, we were bruised.
Correct.
We were bruised pretty badly.
Yeah.
Shit happens, you know? Shit happens all the time.
No. Well said. Thanks, Andy.
Oh, you're good, mate. Up the baggers, and don't forget to beat the Dogs. Let's go, yeah?
Good point. See you, mate.
Stick to it. See ya.
All right. Lucinda, hello.
Hey, Terry.
How we doing?
In 3 words, well, actually 2, fucking fantastic. And you know why?
Why
Because
is that?
the last time we lost, I think it was to Geelong, I talked about all the lessons they could learn and how they could actually manufacture wins from that. And I think over, round 7 to now, that's kind of transpired. So I'm sort of seeing, the similar sort of blueprints and lessons and or humbling, you could say, that
What are they?
needed. Well,
What are those lessons?
okay, so I don't think they got arrogant, comfortable, and or complacent. I think they were actually shocked by how successful they were, kind of like the Melbourne 36-0 situation. And we all know that 1 point cliffhanger happened, probably because they learned from the near could have been draw to Collingwood. But basically, back then it was all speculation and prayer to, that they would take on, potential, lessons and ways to avoid the same happening again. So basically, when I see a loss, especially one that, still is a healthy margin, even if they did, leave their run too late in the 4th, and it could have been a different situation if they had, had their run even an extra 5 minutes.
Wait.
Earlier.
Wait. What was the lesson?
Okay. So basically, next time they, have a massive first they sort of got there with Essendon where they were up by 30 something and they still defended enough. Yes, they conceded to 15 to 16, but they had enough to sort of still get the win as opposed to leading by 36, winning by 1. So this time it kind of was like, I think they almost, were a victim of their own early success. Like they didn't know what to do with themselves because they weren't expecting that kind of good result. And I don't think that they took the foot off the gas. I think Giants were just fucking good. Okay. They were effing good. And we just didn't have as many opportunities. And again, bit like Geelong 1.0, ran
So
too
the
late at the end.
lesson is to. So you don't think they got a little bit comfortable?
Oh,
And
I
maybe
know that
dropped
they
their guard
did.
a little bit?
Yeah, I know that they got comfortable in terms of how quarter 2 to 4 played out, and I think they needed to try and steal it 5 minutes earlier than they did, and then it's a different story. But what I mean is they almost stun themselves or surprise themselves when they get a 30-something margin, especially early, and they don't know, or they seem to not know what to do with themselves. And what I'm saying is they need to do a bit more of the Essendon stuff. Like if you can't build because other sides answer, defend your margin, build it, like extend it if you can. But what I'm trying to say in English, where we can all understand, is they need to be less surprised when they achieve 30 something early or at any point and, say, no, this is fucking us. We, put ourselves in this
Lean
position. We are this effing
into
good, and they need to capitalize. So
lean
they
into
need to
this.
be, you go.
So like to lean into the fact that they are good and not be shell shocked by the situation and just keep at it.
Yeah, like if they get like 30, 40 early,
Keep it
like,
up. Make it 100.
yeah, like don't be afraid of, unexpected success and just have like a little 50-50, like, okay, just try and a
I
little
like
bit
it.
off and extend, defend. But
Yeah.
basically, don't be like shocked and or surprised when you're fucking good and
I like
capitalize on it.
Wow. I like it. I like it.
One little tiny point so you can
Sure.
actually go to bed happy
Yeah.
after the toxic chat. And I'm sorry, guys, that's what it was. Essentially, looking ahead from 18 to 24, I don't see
Yeah.
us losing another game because of the lessons we learned tonight. Basically, whether we have 30
Hope so.
leads or we're just scores level or just ahead and, chip away at it, whether we're 63 or 61 point winners, or we win by 1 a few times, it needed to happen now because then it teaches us for finals, right? So let's say from this, oh, wow, whoopsies, we dropped that. How embarrassing. We get, all remaining home and away wins, for example. And then we kind of go, oh, remember round 17 when we're in a tight moment, probably in the prelim or the grand final itself? I just don't see how this isn't beneficial. So you can go to bed happy now.
Love your work. Thanks, Lucinda.
See you later. Bye.
See ya. Tolls,
Hey there, Tez.
what do you got
How we
for me
doing?
tonight, mate? Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. It was really rough to watch, but I think the second half was more emblematic than the first half, really, because the
How
first
so?
quarter happened,
Mhm.
then the second quarter happened. But what happened at halftime and then in the third quarter, that is kind of where we fell apart. And then when we came back in the fourth, that shows us we have something there.
Yeah. Yeah,
not
the
making
never
sense.
say die attitude is important. We saw it against Geelong.
Yeah.
Game was probably what was it was done. And then you saw us just continue at it, even though we'd spent 4 quarters not being able to find our momentum within the game. And I thought it was important. I know that at the end of the day, it's a 2-goal game. But I think it was important just to see the mentality that even when it's not your night, you've got to try and salvage something from it. I do like seeing it.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a bit scary seeing how much we fell apart without
Yep.
Weitering.
Mm.
Like
That was Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like
the
inability
biggest
to
worry.
adjust. Yeah.
Like we've all been talking about, our list is so deep where everyone is good from top to bottom, but like we still are relying on our top players a bit too much.
Well,
it seems.
Wiedering is I think there's depth in certain positions, but fullback is definitely not one of them.
I mean, we've had Wiedering for so long.
Yeah,
we haven't really needed to search for something there.
Yeah.
I think we kind of believe the hype a bit.
Yeah.
With selection, putting TDK in, we believe the hype of, TDK's, best ruck in the league last 5 games. With just doing solo ruck. I think, Cottrell came back in. We believe the hype with Cottrell. And yeah, I think TDK, TDK did well in spite of everything. He worked hard, I think. I feel like in that fourth quarter, it really showed how hard we can work to wrestle it back. It was just too little, too late.
I've just seen this. People are talking about it in the chat. Are we all aware of what Toby Green said tonight?
No.
So Kemp goes down, and the umpires are saying stop injured player. Apparently,
I saw that.
I'm seeing the subtitles. I can't hear it, but apparently, Toby Green said, "Who gives a fuck if he's injured?" That's interesting.
And yeah, that clash was bullshit as well. He just came in full on for 4.
Should he get a week for that? Should he get a week for that?
It's Toby Green, That's just textbook Toby Green play, isn't it? He gets up himself a bit and he does something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Chera was good. It's good seeing Chera back in. We missed Hewitt, and I thought Kennedy did well as well.
Nice. Are you going to be there next week?
No, I'm not. But I don't get tickets that much. But if there's any silver lining to this, it means Collingwood's out of the 8 because GWS has jumped Collingwood.
True, I haven't checked that. I want to see it. Oh yeah,
yeah. I was looking at the.
So if the Lions win tomorrow.
Yeah. I was looking at the maths like, if Port win, the Chef should win, and maybe the Hawks have to win, get a big win, and I mean GWS as well. But we're going to beat GWS, so I mean there's not much of a difference. But yeah, GWS wins, Collingwood's out of the 8. That's just how it is. Oh well,
very good. Tolls, mate.
We got to lift before in the few weeks before Collingwood. We need to beat Collingwood.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We got to split the Collingwood matchup this year. We can't.
Well, if there's something I've learned, if there's something that I learned from tonight, it's that you cannot look any further than the next contest.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Let's just get the first bounce right against the Dogs next week, and take it from there.
You think we go 2 rucks against the Dogs, or do we trust TDK again? Tim English is their ruck, is it?
Tim English is their ruck. My guess is you bring in Pito with Tom.
Yeah.
That's
I think you bring in Pito and you give TDK a good run. And if he's having trouble, you
thing is they also chop out with Sam Darcy as well. So
you might need Pito. I think
might need to come back up.
If we're running strong, like we have the previous 5 games, it'll be some good blood for TDK. Yeah. But if not, 2 rucks will help grind that matchup down.
Yeah. All right, Tolls. I'm gonna let it go, mate. Thanks for calling in.
No worries.
Bye. All right. Lucky last. Toby. Hello, mate.
Hey, Chaz. Yeah.
Matt, I could be better. I can tell you. I'm much calmer than I was after the game. I was pretty upset after the game tonight, but it's a 12-point loss. Yeah, okay. I think we've just got to learn to take it, Tez. It hurts, but what can we do? It's a game of football at the end of the day. We don't need to sit around as supporters and whinge and go, oh, yeah, it's this, it's that. What's that going to do? It's not going to help. It doesn't help whinging and carrying on because
Amen, mate.
Game of footy.
Game
Move
of
on.
footy. We've had a pretty good year so far. Had so much to be happy about. We're sitting at 11-5. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible. It's actually pretty solid, and still a lot of footy to be played. So, I think we've got the right people at the club to make sure that we respond, and I think we will respond.
Oh, I think we will too. And I
Yeah.
think this is a learning curve where the boys will come back next week and come out against the Dogs, because if we don't play well against them, Tez, they'll be upset that they lost to Port today, and they'll come out hungry next week, but we've got to come out even hungrier. We've got to come out and say, okay, all right, last week was last week. This is a new game. How are we going to start? How are we going to come out and make sure we get this job done? If we
How do we
start
do that?
well, well, let's make sure we start well, okay? And you go, all right, that's one good quarter. Let's make it 2 good quarters. Let's make it 3. Let's make it 4. And let's finish the job. Don't just play 1 good quarter. 4 good quarters can win you a game of footy. 1 is not good enough. 1 cannot win you a game.
Got to be
4
better for
can
long.
win you a game.
Yeah, it's true. Toby, thanks for calling in, mate.
No props, Jazz. Up the
See ya.
baggers.
Up the baggers. All right, I've got one more quick one that's just popped in. Danny, hello, mate.
My friend, I feel like I always come for therapy whenever we have a loss. I'm good, mate. I hope you're well as well. And all I want to say is just relax. Like, yes, we lost, and we lost by 12 points. Yes, we coughed up a 39-point lead, but just relax. It's just a loss that I kind of penciled in, because even before this, like when we were on a run, I penciled it in, and I think I saw Bucky's review as well. He kind of penciled it in as well. And why I'm saying that, because you can't ride the momentum all the time. You've had to have these losses before the finals to realize what you need to improve in your game, rather than going on a run and feeling like you're untouchable and then having like a shocker in the final series or closer to the home and away season. I feel the games or the plays that we had in the quarters, I feel like he should not have played today. He was a bit slow. And when I say a bit slow, I'm not taking a dig at him. I'm just saying when you come after a 2-month injury, you're not going to be at your premium best. And I feel like Kennedy as well. Kennedy played amazing, but I feel like he just could not have dropped. I feel like he should have been in. And why I say that is because Briggs there, the Ruck was actually bullying Tom in third and fourth quarter. And why that happened was because he had a bigger body. Maybe this was the game that you must have played in, but that's hindsight. You can say whatever you want to say, but all I want to say is, not going to talk too much about the game. Everyone knows that Sam got tagged and then by Bedford, and then he went to Paddy Cripps. But Paddy Cripps had a number 1 rated game, so he was the number 1 rated player on the ground. So it is what it is. I don't think it's anything, to be honest. It's just a blip. We just get up players in terms of just get up team right. I feel like we need Hewitt. Hewitt is important because he brings that physicality in the defensive midfield pressure that we need there. Everyone played amazing. A very horror game for Charlie as well. Got dominated, really did. Doesn't happen often, but it's one of those things, Tez. Like it's a very competitive league.
Crazy that I said it's crazy that that's the first time all season that he's not been able to kick 2 or more goals in a game. Yeah, I think he's one of a few players who's probably allowed to have an off game. He has a great record. You know what I was thinking about as he put his first through? He has a great record against the Dogs. So there's going to be a big one coming next week.
He's a champion. He hasn't played at his ultimate best. Like, you know what he can do. He can have those bursts, and he's still leading the Coleman. And to be honest with you, like the thing that I really loved from our team was the fight in the end. And that's for exactly what he just said in the fan cams.
Right.
That was reminded you of the Geelong game. But all in all, I would say we need to figure out when Sam Walsh gets tagged, we need to have another player who kind of negates that tag. Or because Sam Walsh had 22 disposals today, got neutralized in a very similar manner how he got neutralized against Sydney. But the truth is, we just need to have our pressure back. And to be honest with you, just a blip, Tez. I don't know why people are panicking and they're talking about, oh, we just lost. Like, fucking Sydney just lost at home, man, to Fremantle. Like, just calm your jets. Like, and we just need to take our W's where we can. And I feel like our run from here is pretty good, and we'll make it. That's my 2 cents, mate.
Love it. Thanks for calling in, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Tezzy. Take care, mate.
See ya. Bye. There's the fan cams. That'll do us. 2.5 hours. Disappointing result. Blues lose by 2 goals. Oh, really want to watch the press conference. Wait, maybe there's a way I can do it. Has anyone watched the press conference? Was it good? Let's have a look. No, I don't see it here. No, that's the pregame. All right. No press conference. Nothing really stood out. You know what? Let's just leave it there. Is what it is. I don't think it's a loss to panic about in a really weird way. I mean, I hope it's one of those losses that you need to have to just sharpen up in the lead up into finals. It's a reminder, 15, 20 minutes, or in this case, it was more than that. It was like 2 quarters, really. 2 quarters of just poor execution of what we had been doing so well for so long. And no matter how good we can look, any team can let any lead slip. I mean, we saw the Lions look invincible in opening round, up by 46 at home. So hopefully tonight is an important lesson that'll hold us in good stead for the rest of this year. But let's see. Anyway, take it easy, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't turn on each other after a loss. It's one loss. There's no need. Just chill out. We're experiencing something enjoyable for the first time. Like we're losing games by 2 goals nowadays, and we're carrying on a little bit. I think it can be easy to forget where we've come from. So, correct me. You got to lose some till you got to keep failing until you win. That's kind of how it works. It's how life works. But yeah, thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Go Blues.